Hey everyone, it's Ometer, and today I'm gonna make a card. I started some of this stuff. Of course, I like to prepare my things, and I don't know how I'm gonna finish it, but we're gonna figure this out. This is how half of my cards, my projects start with, as in a theory and an idea. I use these Magnolia stamps. These are the newer ones I ordered. This one is Sweet Lilac. These are just the backings that I made for it. This is the white rubber stamp, and then I also used these little scooter from the Lemon Squeezy. I truly did just buy this set for the scooter. And these are the white rubbers. I also use this die from Waffle Flower, the arches, whatever. And I'm going to make a double shaker card thingy, which in retrospect, I should have planned this out better. So we're going to figure that out. Anyway, I went ahead and did the backgrounds of the cloud with the Sassy Club cloud stencil, which is this one right here, with the Sassy Club Premium Summer Green ink, and it just gives me, I know it's summer green, but it gives me this beautiful blue that I like, and it's like a blue green. But here are, this is the stamps that I colored, and I didn't color them like traditionally how they color the Magnolias. I colored them how I like to color, because I did do these other ones like that in the traditional cutesy light watercolor, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just do these like I traditionally color, so, and how I like to color. So I was like, let me do that one. I also made some extra pieces, and I also then stamped this section right here from this one, and just with the white gel pen whited out the other lines, because this is going to go on my little scooter. This is why I wanted the scooter. I have issues, I know, but I love it. So hey, it's gonna happen. This is my sentiment. I'm gonna use some of these. These are my usual go-tos for my sequins, because I'm always wanting to make little add-ons for the shaker. So this way, this takes on the color of that. But I actually did have this mix. This is an old mix from Neat and Tangled. I'm gonna show you. I have tons of these mixes that I'm trying to go through because I don't need them, truth be told, but I'm like, you know what, this is gonna be perfect. And I grabbed this one. I don't know where this one is from, probably the same company, because they have the same kind of shine, and I'm just gonna probably add some more into this one. This is a spring mix. They're no longer in business, so, but I need to use them. So here is where my challenge started. Now, traditionally when I make my cards and I do my videos and everything, there are certain things I like to have done previously, which is usually I add the foam to many things. I add the foam to the arches and stuff, to my shaker parts and everything, just because I don't know if you guys even want to see that. Like personally, I'm like, okay, that's just taking up, whatever. So I was sitting here trying to figure out how I was going to do, because I had it in my head. I wanted a double arch, but where one of them was going to be separate. So I had already put the foam on the smaller arch. Then I'm like, well, how am I going to solve this problem? Because I want the front part to be the same thickness. So I decided, here, we're going to do some surgery again, because I'm always messing up my projects. On the positive note, I didn't forget to put acetate on the shakers this time. So anyhow, so I went ahead and just overlapped them, and just with a Sharpie, and I use Sharpie for the acetate just because it's the only thing that's going to work on this non-porous surface. And I cut out a piece, because now I'm going to lift up the foam. Now, had I done this at the beginning, or figured out how to do it instead of just being gung-ho, we wouldn't be watching this unfortunate massacre of this of this shaker card, and waste of foam tape, which I use the big white foam tape roll from Michael's, and I double it up when I do my shakers. Now I'm going ahead and going to put on some of the Scotch tacky glue on this. I like to use a wet glue on acetate and cardstock, because I feel like it gives a better hold, being that it is a non-porous surface. Now I like to use the score tape on paper to paper, but when it comes to acetate, I like to use the wet glue. That's just my preference. I know other people can do whatever, but I live in the desert, and I feel like this is the best option, because I feel like the other tape does not work that well. Anyhow, so now, since I had to rip off the foam tape of the border of the smaller arch, I'm now going and adding another arch. And then I realized, oh yeah, I need to just cut this piece off, because I wasn't going to try to glue it, because sometimes the ones from Michael's when you pull it off, it'll rip because of the adhesive is so strong. Like seriously, the adhesive is so strong that I like to put wax paper on the back of the mounting foam when I'm cutting it down or doubling them up so it doesn't make my scissors so tacky. So anyhow, so that one's already set. The smaller arch is already set because that's going to look like, it's like when you're masking stamps. I want the smaller arch to look like it's in the front. Now we're just adding the double foam tape to the larger arch. And again, this took me way longer than it should have. You guys don't understand. Sometimes I have an idea and then I'm like, oh yeah, I can figure this out. I'm like halfway through it, then I'm like, oh no, I forgot step 1. Which, by the way, later on in this video, I even forget one of my crucial steps with the little add-ons that I like to add. Anyhow, so now we're just adding the foam tip, and I like to push it all the way when I'm adding one piece to another. When I'm like this one, I didn't have the long enough strip of foam tape. I like to push it a little bit forward so it gets that nice little tight arch or that little frame. So now we're going in with my usual and my favorite iridescent sequins. I like using iridescent sequins. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it 100 more times in my other videos when I do shaker cards, because if I'm too lazy to do a colored shaker, this takes on any color of the background, any color of the stamps. Whatever is in there, it'll pick up those colors because it has every color. Now, if you want your shakers to make noise, it doesn't matter how much sequins you put in. Add some micro beads, and these come in those little plastic tubes from Michaels and stuff like that. I just scoop them in, and here is the mix that I have from Neat and Tangled, which is like an old mix. Like I said, the company unfortunately is out of business now, but I try to use the mixes that I do have just to get rid of them, honestly, because they've been sitting there. This company is out of business, and I've had this for years. Like, I don't even remember when I bought this stuff. Like, I didn't even know I had this until I was looking for the sequins, because I'm wild like that. So in this way you get to use them up, and I like to have luscious bunch of sequins, and that's why I do them twice. I mean, twice as thickness for the foam. Now here is where I forget one of my cardinal rules. I took the time of cutting and fussy cutting all of these little lilac flowers from the stamp set and leaves. And traditionally, I like to put them up front by the acetate so they show better. So now here I am trying to sneak them in and tuck them in. I'm moving the sequins in different places, which isn't good because then you get like the oils from your hand and there's more static and stuff sticks. But anyway, I'm moving the sequins around so I can add the little pieces face forward. And that way, when you're shaking them, they show up front even more. But even if you don't, like I said, the clear iridescent sequins always picks that up. Now here is for the tricky part where you have to pull up all of this tape from this foam tape, all of this backing, and hope that it doesn't like pull the card and make a mess everywhere. Have I done that? Yes. Will I probably do it again? Also a yes, because it's a hot mess. Now, my inked backgrounds with the clouds, these obviously going to go face forward. And have I made a mistake of doing them backwards before? Yes. Do I just go on about that? Yeah, because I'm too lazy. Sometimes I'm too lazy. So the smaller frame has its full-on foam frame, so easy peasy. Now here you see I am trying to go very slow because see, every time you pull up that backing, these sequins are going to go flying, and this one I just push it back in. Now for the second piece, the larger piece, since there's foam tape on the majority of the frame, I'm going to have to add wet glue or glue to the side right here behind the smallest arch. That way it seals the larger frame. If not, all of those things are just going to come flying out. So I go ahead and I position it and put it in there, squash it down. I like to hold it. Here's the shake. Yes, I love it. Now you're wondering, what are you doing? I'm contemplating if this needs more sequins. I'm listening to it. I'm feeling it. I'm finding it. I'm still trying to figure out. But I was like, you know what? I like it. I love how it flows. It's going to work, right? So now here's the back of my card. And like I said, I did cut out a card with the large arch frame from that waffle flower to make that card, with the short cut off on the side where you put it right in before the die so I could make the card base. But I also cut out the smaller arch out of white heavyweight cardstock. And all this is heavyweight cardstock, or else this all is going to poops. And I go ahead and just adhere it together and make sure it measures up behind the main one. And here we go. And since I don't have like stamps or anything like on this, it looks like one full piece. But it totally worked out. Yes, this card is a little big. It's about like 5.5 by 8, basically. But here I am. I cut out the sentiment. I'm positioning my little fairies, my little whatever, because they have cute little wings. And I fell in love with these. I'm not going to lie. The Magnolia stamps One of the things I love the most about them is the little cute outfits. I had a hard time deciding which one I wanted. So here is my scooter, and here I am just positioning that extra bundle of lilacs that I made, that I stamped and I cut out. But here I am just using the extra little ones. I always like to leave little accents that I put in the sequin shakers, so I can have on the outside, so it looks like they're inside and outside. But here it is. I hope all of this made sense. If not, I do apologize. This was a total science experiment. But listen to the shake, listen to the shake. And yes, am I still wondering, do I need more? Yes. And also, before I forget, there is a coupon code in the description for Magnolia and a link. If you want to order any of these things, you'll at least get 10% off. This isn't sponsored or affiliated. I was just able to get one, so might as well use it and get your discount. Hope you guys like it. Thank you, everybody.